Listen.
Sometimes people just do things they don't mean.
Like some remakes. So Prime has a new horror movie that's the English version of Austrian's Oscar submission from way back in 2014, which I remember being one of our first explained videos before it became a genre. And it was a solid horror movie. It follows these twin boys who are dropped off at their mom's house in the middle of nowhere and start to suspect that she may have been replaced. It's one of those that takes its time but adds layers on future rewatches. It has a very spooky setting, and the kid actors are really creepy. It's definitely the more scarier version of these two right here, but I'll be honest, if you don't know the story and are a scaredy cat, then go ahead and watch the Prime version, I guess, since it'll deliver the same beats in a tamer, more PG way, but then definitely watch the original, because not only is it better, it's available for free online.
Mom?
But before we get into full spoilers, a big thank you to our video sponsor, CyberGhost VPN, especially because we have the upcoming Chicago International Film Festival, and they're going to have an entire After Dark Shorts category that you can watch from the comfort of your own couch, and it's going to be stacked with some really good horror shorts just in time for October. So in case you're not in the area where they filmed The Bear, you can just hop on this easy-to-use app, browse different locations, and boom, it's like you're in Chi-Town. Everyone knows that different regions have different Netflix lineups, so say you're not in the States and couldn't watch Morbius now that it's on there, well, one click and boom, you can get Morb too. Because Lauren knows that if people didn't leave to watch it in theaters, they definitely ain't leaving the country to catch it either. As always, it helps protect your online activity, especially when you're on the go. It's available on all platforms, you can get it on up to 7 devices, and there's a strict no logs policy so you can divvy it up with your family. So if you're interested, click the link in the description to get it for just $2.23 a month, plus 4 months free, all with a 40-day money-back guarantee. Because even as this movie shows, you can never stay too protected with CyberGhost.
I don't think that's our mother. No.
Let me explain. So the movie begins by showing us Elias and Lucas getting dropped off by their dad at their mom's farmhouse, but he refuses to see the mom. Same way I refuse to say Elias, so I'm sticking with Eli. The big thing that gets the ball rolling is the mom's new procedure that she's had, which causes bandages to be on her face for a couple of weeks. That's meant to be a fresh start for her as an actress, even calling it an oil change.
I look ancient, please. Please, turn it off.
It was interesting to find out how the original got the idea, because they based it on these reality shows where families were getting their moms swapped for an upgraded one, meaning that they would go through all of these surgeries and routines with no mirrors and then reveal themselves and their new versions to their families.
It was even happened once that a girl would grab her father's arm and said, "Oh, this is not my mom."
Be a little embarrassed to ask you this, but I was hoping that maybe I could get a selfie.
Gary, I'm gonna have to take a rain check because I don't have my face on.
Naomi's playing Watts, who's on her 7th international remake, and I'll give her props for killing it while wearing a mask for half the movie, but also for how dirty she was with these kids. One line that the original actress brought up that I thought was really good about the surgery was that it was specifically looking to take 10 years off of her face, which is the same age as the boys.
We could do something together.
It's been a long day, Alias.
It's not even 8.
Of course, I don't know what this was. The only thing more trash in her dancing ends up being Eli's painting that he made for her, and that's where he gets even more suspicious about her. They feel they're onto her big little lies as they go through her stuff, find her pills, even pull up her IMDb picture and enhance on her different colored eyes. That's when they go full Zack and Cody and take out the walkie-talkies. They're standing guard with their BBs, but the moment they try to call up the dad, the mom straight up snaps and nutra-bullets their phone.
Answer me. What is wrong with you?
Since they barricaded their room, the mom tries to break on through with a crowbar like she's the new 52 Joker, with Eli not realizing there's been a death in the family, of the family, and they're ready to add another for the family, with her damn near waterboarding him into confessing.
You are my mother. You are my mother. Say it.
So, what should have been a relaxing time at mom's now becomes a reverse Dr. Seuss.
Are you my mother? He said to the cow.
You're not our mother.
There's a lot on Eli's mind, but there's more on Eli's head. We see a nightmare shot that gets under his skin, which happens multiple times in the movie, but isn't really there. You know, the same way that every time Lucas talks, they cue it up to be all dramatic.
We need to leave.
They run away in the rain to an empty house where you realize that out of the two, Lucas is the one who's always calling the shots.
I'm not in the mood for dumb jokes. Shut up.
An interesting part in the original is that they kept the kid actors' names in the script, so it's also their characters, even going as far as not letting them know the ending since they shot it in order and it ends up being a reveal for them as well. Here, they kept that part where they don't know the ending, but you just know Homelander's kid was watching the original over breakfast.
You're such a bad liar.
Motion sensors end up tipping off the state troopers who picked them up and returned them home, and they just leave them there with no questions since the dude has seen Mulholland Drive a couple times and overly loves her work. But once things are peaceful, they tie up the mom and he Guantanamos her back since he's still upset that she ripped up that drawing. So, no, never throw away my future kid's macaroni necklace.
I'm telling you, we're wasting our time.
Here's where the setting from the 2014 one really worked because it pushed those themes of isolation, especially with how and where it was shot. Here, one of the kids can just go,
We're calling an Uber.
The things they do to the mom are also next level in the first one because, man, they toyed with her so much that Sid would be jealous. They even had these cockroaches that they trained to be in the movie and were legit actors that were credited in the credits.
But the children loved them.
Really?
Yeah, we gave them like
Two,
also
to
for
prepare.
preparation. They had two, and they named them Rocky and Rambo.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if that bugs you, stick to the Prime one. As they're doing everything that Netflix would deem a 3-part docuseries, Lucas decides to pull a fast one. Because for whatever reason, throughout the entire movie, Eli has been double-checking everything, except for when it comes to the contacts that prove the mom is who she is. He just decides to trust Lucas with checking through that bag. The cops show up again, but they're practically super troopers getting super duped. Because even with all the evidence and a report that would have been filed on this house, they just dip again, leaving Eli to fight with him, Lucas, about the contacts.
You need to let me explain.
Let me. See, it turns out that Lucas has been in Eli's mind the entire time since he lost him in an accident when they were younger. This not only caused the family to split and them leaving their childhood home, but Eli creating an illusion of his twin to cope, the same way the mom has just ignored her one living child and focused on herself. And look, there's a bunch of clues throughout, especially with what twin is leaning in or who's talking to who. Kind of like when the dad dropped them off, but he only said bye to Eli, or every time that the mom's talking to them, but she never responds to Lucas.
Anyway, I got you something. I went out there looking for you in a storm. I know you're not asleep.
Sweetie, I'm not mad at you. I just want to talk.
Go away.
Well, you must be freezing. Why don't you head upstairs? No one here but you and me.
We're not hungry.
Hey, you're all right, little man.
Are you crazy? But they already saw us. They saw you. Tell her about the cold water.
Hey, Sandy.
Are you even listening to me?
Please. Elias, stay with me. What Mommy says goes. You think you can do that?
Yeah, sure.
Elias, do you hear me?
There's also her only tucking one of them in, or one of them having to lean in for the story. But damn, Eli really ate that whole pie by himself. Eli realizes that Lucas has just been a reflection in his mind and decides to release his mom. Yet, after seeing her child snap out of a psychotic state that left her tied up, she just, She takes him to the barn where he accidentally murdered his brother. She reveals to him that they went from playing cops and robbers to reenacting the Crow, and since the incident, they've abandoned the barn and left it to rust. Eli can't handle the truth, so he just chucks his mother over the ledge and leaves her to burn and go night-night. In the end, it reenacts the original by having them both appear in front of Eli as he dreamwalks away with his family in his head. No cops in sight, but it still focuses on that story about miscommunication, about parenting gone wrong after trauma and grief, and it still flips the original title into something that's really smart, since in their original casting process, the way that they auditioned the twins was to tell them all to go to bed, but they only hired the two who refused to do so. It's talking about what happens when you resist the programs and labels that tell you how to be a caring parent or how to be an obedient child. Really pushing that idea of what makes you the person other people think you are. That said, the most confusing part was, why would a rich actress have a Black Friday TLC TV?
No, that makes no sense.
Thank you all for watching this video. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Again, a big thanks to CyberGhost VPN. Unleash the most out of your streaming services. Get, all of these film festivals, everything that's out there. You need a VPN for that reason alone, I would say. Of course, there's all the security stuff, but with everything now that we're in the Oscar season, the Oscar races, all those movies that are coming out, definitely be on the lookout to be able to catch any of those screenings. Like I said, the original for this is also available for free. Maybe you can use that. It's on Tubi, Vudu. Always great to have those movies available in that sense. But I would also recommend recommend The Other. When I first saw the 2014 version, I didn't realize that this was kind of already done. So that is kind of a spoiler, but I would say go check the original. That's called The Other, back from almost like 50 years ago. But I was very curious for this new one because it was the director who'd done a couple episodes from Brand New Cherry Flavor. It's all right for the most part, but I just wanted it to be a lot better. I feel that when it comes to a lot of these American remakes, they kind of just like tell you what was already subtle in the original, and that takes a lot away from it. But let me know your thoughts on this one, any other horror movies that are on the horizon, and until next time, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll send you some movies.
And I'm gonna get you those Blu-rays.
Okay, thank you.
Good night.